driving position is very important. With the automatic transmissions and the paddles behind the steering wheel is obviously a good benefit to keeping our hands at the 9 and 3 hand position. So just kind of Velcro your hands in place there so you can rest your thumbs on the top of the spoke, wrap your fingers around the back of the rim there, and then you can reach the paddles easily without moving your hands. Getting our eyes up, looking ahead, that is the key. We need information so we can make good decisions about what we're going to do next as we circulate the track. So we need to look ahead, see where the road's going, see where the turning cones are, so we make sure we get to those cones before we turn the car. Get to each and every apex. Put your tires on the curb next to the apex cones. Make that track as wide as possible. So all of that comes from getting our eyes up and looking ahead. All right, gentlemen, off we go. Let's work our way up to third gear here as we head out onto the track. And then as we approach the drop, go ahead and put it into fourth gear. And remember, we straighten up the wheel as we head down the hill into the drop. So we go through the compression at the bottom of the hill with our wheels pointed straight ahead, and that'll be a lot more stable. All right, then we shift up to fifth gear as we come out of the drop. And as we crest the hill in turn 4, put your right tires on the curving starting at the top of the hill and stay on the curve all the way down the hill. You should feel that vibration from the curving all the way down the hill. All right. So as we're slowing down for turn 5 here, pull the left paddle, go back to fourth gear. Wait for the turning cone to turn and then carry those light brakes into the corner. Back to light throttle, keep our speed steady and end up in the middle of the road. Look for the apex here on the right and keep moving that steering wheel. Put your tires on the curb as you look up the track to see where the road's going. Oh, we're got a white line on the left here. All right, we slow down as we approach turn 6. As we come out to the middle of the road, back to light brakes, add a little steering, tighten up the line, go to the apex. All right, into the apex here at 7. And as we approach 8, we want to be in the middle of the road, brush the brakes, turn a little sharper to the left, so we are immediately on the left side of the road as we approach the hairpin, and down to third gear for the hairpin. All right, into the apex of the hairpin, sweep out to the outside here, back up to fourth gear. We're going to light up brake lights without slowing the car down as we enter turn 10. So rest your foot on the brakes as you go from the turning cone to the apex and then accelerate out, and up to fifth gear as we approach turn 1. Third brakes, back down to fourth gear before we turn left. Now look out your left side window here, Howard. Look across, see that apex. We want to keep getting the car out to the inside of the track, tires on the curb, and then crest the hill in the middle of the road as you accelerate out of turn 1. On the brakes, everybody back to third gear before we turn right into the hairpin. Now look out the right side window, look up the hill, see where the road's going so we can plan our exit, and back up to fourth gear as we approach the drop. Straighten up for the drop, accelerate through the drop, back up to fifth before we turn into turn 4. Keep your speed steady in the corners. Don't increase or decrease the speed in the corner. Balance the car. All right, everything's warmed up here pretty good. So back to fourth gear here before we turn into turn 5. Now we go in the middle of the road here, so we have a little better view around the corner. We can approach the apex from a favorable angle and accelerate a little sooner over to the left side of the road as we leave turn 5. Getting closer to the white line there, all right? All right. Yes. All right, looking ahead, balancing the car. Light brakes to start turn 8 here, so we end up on the inside of the corner as we come around here. Get to the turning cone down to third gear before the hairpin. So the two hairpins are the only third gear corners on the track. So we'll remember that. And back up to fourth gear as we come out of the hairpin. Light brakes going into turn 10. Have the person behind you see brake lights, but you're not slowing the car down. That stabilizes the car there on a fast part of the track. Up to fifth and back to fourth before we turn into turn 1. All right, down to the inside here. Now, on the curb with your left tires here, Howard, and then roll into the throttle, accelerate across the top of the hill in the middle of the road, braking straight back to third, turn your head, look around the window, out the right window, see where the road's going. Back up to fourth. Up to fifth as we exit the drop. Now you can brush the brakes going into turn 4 here. That gives you some stability. Tires on the curb on the downhill run, accelerate hard down the straight. And firm brakes back to fourth. Light brakes into the corner. Now think about what we're going to see as we come around the corner. We're going to see that apex. As we approach the apex, we're looking up the hill, seeing it climb and turn to the left. So accelerate as straight as you can, get over near the white line, and begin slowing down for turn 6. All right, out in the middle here, down tight to the apex, looking through the S's. Get your eyes up, gather information. To third for the hairpin, look around the corners, look down towards turn 10. Back up to fourth before turn 10 and rest your foot on the brakes as we enter the corner and go to the apex. Then accelerate out and up to fifth. Back to fourth before the turn. All right, now, takes a long time to get to this apex. So keep looking around the corner, look past the apex, see where the rise is here so we can plan our path out of the corner. So we don't want to stare at the cones. We want to follow the road with our eyes, but we want to be aware of the cones so we can react accordingly to them. So be aware of them, react when you need to, but look to the road as you're going around the track. All right, we're going to do a rotation here as we come out onto the straight here. So Howard, all the way out to the left and then over to the right. So yeah, finish the corner, come all the way out to the exit, then over to the right. So we're going to slow way down here. We'll get everybody gathered up here. So we've got Zeb and Clay coming past Howard, and then Howard, you'll tuck in at the back. Excellent. All right, Zeb, off we go here. So we should be in fourth gear for this corner. All right, get down to the apex, look ahead now, see where the road's going up the hill and to the left. So we're going to accelerate out and come over next to the white line and then begin braking nice and smooth for 6. Back to light brakes as we add a little steering to tighten line up, get to the apex, look through the S's. Balance with the brakes as we turn into turn 8 here so we can stay to the left. Now you can accelerate briefly and then brake and downshift the third before we turn into the hairpin. Get to the apex, look around the corner, plan our approach to turn 10, back up to fourth gear. Brush the brakes going through, turn 10, get to the apex, then accelerate out next to the white line on the left here as you upshift. Back to fourth. Now look across the infield. See that apex all the way over there? We want to have that in our sights so we can make sure we get to that curve. Now look ahead, see the rise, look for the hairpin as you come over the hill. Get back to third, look around the corner. We'll plan our exit from the hairpin as we're approaching the hairpin. Brush the brakes as we head into turn 4. Tires on the curb at the top of the hill. Stay on the good. Now, we missed that curve by quite a bit. Now, see, you're running out wide there, and we couldn't get on the throttle too very early. Still in control coming down the hill with our tires on that curving because that's helping to aim the car. And you actually have to continue steering the car to keep your tires on that curve at the apex of 4. So make sure we get that part done, and then our exit for the corner, the entrance to the straight is a lot more organized. All right, look out the left side window here. See that apex there on the inside? We need to know where that is so we can plan our path to that. And so we missed that a little bit that time. Probably weren't looking far enough ahead. So use those side windows, gather information about the entire corner as much as possible. So here we see the whole hairpin. I can plan my path here. I know exactly where I need to go. I've got time to make adjustments, and we hit our marks. All right, make sure we're not trying to accelerate while we're still turning, because that lifts the nose, takes steering away from the car, reduces grip on the front tires. So that made the car run wide there if we're on the throttle too early. Light brakes into the corner here, looking through the corner, get to the apex. license group on the back straight here, so focus on the line, even though we're going a little slower here. Do everything right, in the correct gear, hit your marks. Now let's ride the curb down back side of this hill here. Is that tires on the curb at the top of the hill? Stay on the curb all the way down the hill. There you go. All right, accelerate over to the left, and off we go. All right, looking through the corner. Now, see, my brake lights are on here a long way into this corner. I've got to keep the nose stuck to the ground so I can get the car turned. Then I balance, get to the apex, and then unwind. And as you're unwinding, roll into the throttle and accelerate. Balance with the brakes. Look out the side window this time. Turn the wheel more, get to that apex. You got a good adjustment. Use the side windows. Look around the corner and see where we're going next. Balance with the brakes into 10. Make sure we're doing that. If we go in there without balancing, it's very easy to run wide. We're going pretty fast here, so we want to make sure we're keeping that car under control as we turn into that corner. All right. Find your exit here. We know where the apex is. We know we're going to be in the middle of the road as we crest the hill. So get to the point at the apex and then follow through on the plan as we crest the hill. There you go. Very nice. Balance with the brakes in the forward. Get to the apex. Ride the curb down there. Ride the curb. Ride the curb. Okay. Very nice. Good. See, that gave you a much better angle out onto the straight there. Everything was working a lot smoother there. That was good. All right, now think about the apex that we can't see here. We're setting up for it here in the middle of the road. Then we see the apex. Now we start looking for the corner exit so we can plan our approach to 6. Come over to the left a little bit more there, Zeb. We're several feet away from that white line, making that part of the track a little more curved than it needs to be. You want to go as straight as possible, so cut that corner. All right, light brakes here, setting up for the hairpin. Roll into the throttle. Don't jump on it. Roll into the throttle as you unwind. There you go. Much cleaner exit. Look good. Balance with the brakes into the apex here, and then accelerate out and upshift. Balancing, look ahead, now plan our exit from this corner. We have to get to the apex first, and then we're in position to begin accelerating smoothly as we crest the hill under throttle, and then brake and downshift. We're going to do a rotation this time, so as we come down the hill onto the straight, unwind all the way to the outside, and then I'll have you smoothly pull over to the right there, Zip. Yeah, finish the corner. Don't pinch the corner as you're coming onto the straight here. Finish it all the way to the outside. All right, so Clay, followed by Howard. Come on by on the left. 2 cars coming by you there, Zip. All right, Clay, so we'll be in 4th gear here as we enter turn 5. Middle of the road here as we come down the hill. Now look over the right side of your windshield there. See the apex. Keep steering the car, turn the wheel, put your tires on the curb. All right, we missed the curve there a little bit, so start moving the wheel just a little bit more. All right, so here we're slowing down as straight as we can. Not quite straight, but as straight as we can. Then light brakes, turn sharper. Add some steering, get to the apex. Nice. All right, apex here at 7, and then we're in the middle of the road here as we brush brakes and tighten up the line to the left side of the road. Accelerate briefly, then back to braking and downshift to 3rd. Into the apex, look out the side window, see where the road's going. Accelerate out, back up to 4th. Rest your foot on the brakes. No slowing down here, but help the car turn. Transfer that weight to the front tires so that car is stable. Then accelerate out, up to 5th, and braking back to 4th. All right, look out the side window now, look across, see that apex? All right, bring it down to the apex. Now, as we unwind, we're going to accelerate across the top of the hill in the middle of the road. Good, braking and downshifting. light brakes, okay, get the car to turn, light throttle as you go by the apex, then accelerate out, and upshift back to fourth. And back up to fifth before we enter turn four. Rest your foot lightly on the brakes as we turn into four and ride the curve down the hill on the backside here. We ran wide of the curve there, so make sure we're thinking about that as we approach that apex. We can have the car close enough to the right side of the road, get it in, stay on that curve down the hill. Alright, think about turn six here. Hanging out here in the middle, getting a good view, good angle as we go by the apex. As you approach the apex, look up the hill, see where we're going next. Oh, we're close. Yeah, there you go. Closer to the white line. That gives us a little better approach to this corner. All right, nice and tight for the apex. Look through the S's now. Look through the S's. See the next two apexes. Plan our path for this part of the trip. All right, turn your head. Look over your right shoulder. See where the road's going. Back up to fourth and then brush the brakes as we turn into turn 10 and drive to the apex. Then accelerate away from the corner and upshift to fifth. Firm brakes, straight line, back to fourth. Turn your head, look out the side window, work your way to the inside here so we can get to the apex. And then look ahead now. Get ready to accelerate across the top of the hill in the middle of the road and brake straight for the hairpin. Okay, unwind a little bit more there. Clay, we're holding that steering wheel turned left too long there, and we didn't unwind out to the middle, so that was slowing down your acceleration. We want to be unwinding and accelerating, and we end up in the middle of the road as we crest the hill coming out of turn one there. Now let's get our tires on the curb this time, Clay. Stay on the curb all the way down the hill. All right, the line was good. I just want you another foot and a half to the right there. You're paralleling the curb, you're just not on the curb, so you'll know you're on it. You'll feel a little vibration. You'll hear some rumble, and that'll tell you got to that apex. Okay, nice smooth. Accelerate out, up to fourth. Brush the brakes, go to the apex. Good, sweep out the left, upshift the fifth. We're just closing in on these other cars here, so we're gonna hold back a little bit here, but don't change your technique. Keep doing everything the same as if we're going faster, so we practice out each and every lap. And firm brakes. Look out the right side window, turn the wheel sharp enough. See how close I get to the apex? Use that curve, and that gives us a good angle to lean forward. Okay, light brakes here. Now we're going to unwind out of this corner. Let's get your tires on the curve here. Ride the curve down the hill. There you go, perfect. Now we're going to ease off and pull over to the right. Let this group get a little bit of a lead on us. Leave some space between you and the car in front of you because we'll do a rotation as we pull away here. So don't get too close to the car in front of you. All right, so while we're here waiting for some space, look down the left side of the track. We see our countdown board, so we know that's a braking area. We see the turning zone down there. So that is where our slowing down for the corner needs to be completed. We do not want to turn into the corner still trying to slow down. So that's a reference point we use back here. We can adjust our speed. So when we get there, that's the speed we want to use to enter the corner. We're also doing a downshift here, so we make sure we pull the paddle soon enough where the transmission finishes the shift before we arrive at the turning zone. So we don't want to turn into the corner having the transmission trying to do a downshift as well. So all of the preparation is done before we enter a corner. All right, so we're going to have Clay stay where you are. Howard, followed by Zeb. Come on back around the left side there and up behind the lead car. You'll tuck in at the back there, Clay. All right, off you go. Back up to fourth gear here. All right, light brakes into the corner here, Howard. Balancing the cars. staying out in the middle here until we see our line down to the apex, and then on the curb, look ahead now, plan your approach to turn 6. So get over next to the white line and begin braking as straight as we can and coming out to the middle of the road and then tightening up using light brakes coming back down to the apex. Good. Alright, now balancing with the brakes as we enter turn 8. Start looking ahead for the turn-in zone up there on the left. As you unwind, accelerate briefly and then brake and downshift. Light brakes into the corner, light throttle as we go past the apex, and then roll into the throttle smoothly and back up to 4th. Drag the brakes lightly as we head into the corner, get to the apex there, and roll into the throttle, accelerate hard, and upshift to 0. Okay, now we're going to clip the apex, tires on the curb, and then squeeze on the throttle, accelerate over the top of the hill, coming out to the middle, and then braking straight. Good. Light brakes into the apex, look through the corner, roll into the throttle, back up to 4th. Turn up for the drop. Crushing the brakes lightly, thinking about our apex on the downhill side of the hill here. Good. Preparing for the corner and then executing the corner. So our speed's steady while we're in the turn. No speeding up, no slowing down, but hitting our marks. Then as we unwind, we accelerate out. Good. Nice and smooth on the throttle. We'll make sure we're not breaking the traction there by adding too much throttle too soon. Good. Balance, nice and smooth. A little wide there, might have been on the throttle a little too early. Balance going into 10 here, make sure we're doing that. And accelerate, and upshift to 5th, and prepare for turn 1. Be very precise in the corners. Hit your marks, prepare for a good exit from the turn, and then be controlled. Yeah, running wide there. If you're running wide, we're on the throttle too early, or we're turning in too early. If we turn in too early, you're going to run out of road on the exit of the corner like we did there. So that may have been the culprit. All right, we're going to ease off and have you pull to the right there, Howard, if you would. So make sure you get into the turning zones before you turn, and don't accelerate until you start to unwind the steering. So that'll control some of that exit problem we had back there. All right, so Zeb followed by Clay. Come on back around. So look out the side window here, Zeb, see where that cone is there. So we've got a plan, we got an idea where we need to put the car. Look through the S's. Light brakes, setting up on the left for the hairpin. And as we come around this hairpin, we're going to put our turn signals on and we'll work our way over to the exit.